Skadden, special guest today, joined by a man of many talents and of many places. You can find him on your TV, in your podcast. It's Rhett Lewis from NFL Network. Rhett, how you doing today?
What's up, Mike? That was a very generous intro. Jack of many trades. I don't know if we would say master of any yet, but still working towards it. Thanks for having me on. Glad to be here.
Oh, perfect. Thanks for coming on. How's the family doing through the pandemic? Because I know you got kids, so.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we've got an almost 3-year-old boy named Conway, and a boy as well. So we're like most people, trying to keep the patience meter as high as possible. Although most days it gets pretty low.
I can imagine.
But we're doing our best, man, to keep everybody active, and we're very fortunate. We're still working, and really lucky to be able to do that with so many of our fellow Americans not having the same luxuries. So hoping we're in the mask every day, hoping we can get through this thing.
Yeah, man. Especially, I mean, you're out in California, so you guys are rowing back a bit. It's a little safer up here in Canada. We haven't quite been anywhere near as bad. Yeah, exactly. And not to turn this into a political, but again, I just hope everyone's safe. So why don't I get started with the first question?
Sure.
Obviously, you have a long history with I almost said the University of Indiana University. I didn't want. Being a grad and a former player there, you have a bit of insight, and you and I talked about this when we met down in Mobile. About how through my work with the Big Ten last year, got to see a lot more of the Hoosiers than I had in previous, and got a little bit more notoriety than in previous years. So I don't know if you were able to talk to anyone involved with the program, but like if you were, what was like the feeling of around those involved after the best season they've had in about 2 decades?
Well, the best thing about what's happening right now with Indiana football in general is we have the right person leading the program. We have a dynamic leader in Tom Allen, who was our defensive coordinator for before he became the interim head coach and then the full-time head coach. And he has reinvigorated the recruiting base. And I think if you polled college football coaches and players, I mean, the number one indicator of success in a college football program is recruiting. And Tom has had back-to-back two of the two best recruiting classes in Indiana football history in 2017, 2018, or 2018, 2019, one of the two. But and so we saw a big increase in talent, and as such, he's got a great coaching staff. And we've got the talent. Now it's all about developing and continuing to develop the pipeline, and that's why the wins are coming. And we should have won that dang bowl game against Tennessee, and
that was heartbreaking.
So yeah, I mean it's that's certainly another goal this year. Is we're back in the bowl conversation, and depending on what happens with the pandemic, we got to go win one. So I think the biggest thing is that Tom has developed a program on principles. The one guiding principle being each other, and the players do that. They love each other, they love the program, they love the coaching staff, and they all buy in together. And that's really the only way you can move forward.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny you mentioned the bowl game, because that leads right into my next question. The Big Ten being one of the conferences that's canceled their non-conference slate. With it being, I don't know whether it's going to be condensed to like 8 or 9 game season, or whether they're just going to play everyone in the conference. But depending on how that goes, how do you, from a totally biased perspective, and that's okay, feel that affects the team's bowl chances if bowl games even happen?
Yeah, look, I mean, I don't think there's any secret that, we have a non-conference schedule that we feel like is strong, but also provides us the opportunity to accomplish our goals. And, I don't think we are, unique in that perspective. We've got some challenging games, and we've got some games with some local ties and some regional ties. And I think that that's important. But Indiana as a program won't get to where we need to be until we can consistently win conference games like we started to last year. So I view this as a challenge and as a stepping stone. If that's the case, I don't. If we're just going to play the non-conference schedule and play 9 games, then so be it. Let's go win 9. Let's go beat all of the the Big Ten teams that we need to be. We're in the toughest side of the conference. Got to play Ohio State, Michigan State, and and Penn State every year. That ain't easy, but
No.
neither is getting where you want to be in college football and as a Power 5 program. So this is where we have to start making our hay. Is we have to start winning the games that people traditionally do not give us a chance in. And we took some steps towards that, getting close, but close ain't going to cut it. And it's it's time to get over that hill, and we're working towards that.
Absolutely. Transition away from Indiana specifically for a couple of minutes. One of my favorite things to listen to every summer is your Manning Passing Academy podcast with DJ and Bucky. And unfortunately, this year, due to the pandemic, it had to be canceled. But obviously, working alongside Daniel Jeremiah and Bucky Brooks, what info have they mentioned to you in passing that an event like the Passing Academy can bring to the prospects in terms of the top quarterbacks being mentors for the week for these high school kids?
Yeah, it's a really valuable experience for me, and DJ was down there on staff 1 year as well. It's actually where we met and figured out that we were both repped by the same agency, and eventually would come to work together. And so it's evolved even more so since DJ stopped going. Is they moved the dates of the camp, and it's right around his son's birthday. He hadn't been able to go. So, but it's become even more of a showcase for these top college quarterbacks than it was before. Which is great. I think it's a great opportunity for them. There's a lot of eyes and eyeballs on these workouts that the guys do, and obviously, the kids learn from that. They learn the skills, they learn the fundamentals, they learn what it takes to get to that level by watching these kids, and then we learn more about the college quarterbacks from being around them all week as fellow staff members. And obviously, that's invaluable for me with my draft work. But I think you learn a lot about how a guy interacts with other people. I think you learn a lot about the mindset that these college quarterbacks have and how they approach an activity like this, an opportunity to learn like this. And you also kind of see what kind of competitors they are, because they're amongst 40 of the best quarterbacks in college football. So how do they approach that? Like, is it really a competition for them on every rep? I tell a story all the time about Peyton Manning in the dead 100-degree heat of Thibodaux, Louisiana, on a Thursday afternoon when nobody's watching, is practicing and working out and doing his drops and his rollouts, like Von Miller's chasing it every single time, and that's the way he approached it. And so you get to see, who has that kind of mindset, that kind of work ethic. And for all those reasons, it's been a really valuable experience. Sad to miss the 25th anniversary this year, but we'll celebrate year number 25 next summer.
Yeah, obviously. And I when that happens, it's going to be one of the first things I listen to, because I also love me some Preston Manning stories.
Good.
Yeah. I love the stories about them as just solid dudes.
Guys, it's a great family. First family of football.
First family of football, indeed. All right, hang on. Let me just lost my notes for a second. So again, another question with Daniel and Bucky. They're predominantly football-oriented guys. In the brief interactions I had with them down in Mobile, solid dudes. What's one thing about them outside of football that their following may not know?
Oh, let's see here. DJ is a diehard Padres fan.
Mm-hmm.
And well, I mean, I guess if you listen to the podcast, you probably know that. You also may not know just how bad the dad jokes get with DJ.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's really, really corny, and the best thing is that I don't think he realizes just how corny they are. So, that's definitely one thing that you could probably get a little bit of a hint of if you listen to the pod and, you watch on YouTube. And then, Bucky is, I think it may not be people that realize that Bucky was both a wide receiver and a defensive back in the NFL. He was a second-round draft pick of the Buffalo Bills. And it really, hung around the league for a number of years, and towards the end, it found a way to stay by switching sides of the ball. He was that talented in order to do that. And then, just seeing the way that he worked his way up the scouting ranks was really impressive. And, he's coached Bucky. Now, he's a high school football coach out here in the greater Los Angeles area, and can also play a pretty mean game of chess, from what I understand.
Really?
So, yeah, there's some knowledge for you.
You mentioned the dad jokes. I'm shocked DJ didn't get in on this Bo Bichette trend of bad puns that blew up last night.
Oh, is that right?
From right here in Toronto.
Oh man, yeah. No, he usually doesn't miss any opportunity to get in on something really cheesy like that.
All right. Obviously, you work in as an anchor on several programs for NFL Network, and including the Move the Sticks podcast with Bucky and DJ. A lot of people that are going to be watching this are, kind of early 20s, late teens, looking to try to break into sports media. What's one piece of advice you could give to them?
I'll give you three.
Right.
Intern. And it seems simple and it seems, rudimentary, but it is the number one indicator or number one most valuable thing that I did in my entire career. Like I tell people, I loved Indiana University. I got a great education there. I did not learn a ton about sports broadcasting there. And that was not necessarily their fault. That was, my football schedule limited the activities and the classes that I could take. But I didn't know what a VO was. I didn't know what a SOT was by the time I graduated undergrad. Luckily, in grad school, I had to do an internship, and I got fortunate enough to work with Anthony Calhoun at a local station in Indianapolis, and literally taught me everything there was to know. Well, I should say that, but at least gave me the fundamentals and the foundation of what I needed to know to succeed in my first job. Taught me how to edit, taught me how to shoot, taught me how to do a stand-up, taught me how to put together a package. Cut tapes, and I am forever grateful. It was an invaluable experience, and those folks were really good to me, and that's how I got my first job, and that's how I got going. So, intern, don't just intern to put it on your resume, but intern to get something out of it. It's like there's a difference between listening and active listening, and a lot of times when you start off, somewhere, you want to have the mentality of eyes and ears open, mouth shut. But don't let that, hinder your ability to ask, like, hey, can I do this? Can I do this? Is there an opportunity for me to get on camera and really get the most out of your experience? So intern, man, that's the number one.
Yeah, definitely. Invaluable experience that will definitely go a long way. Now, my last question before I get you out of here, back to IU. You got any record predictions? And then one just for fun, because he's got a big cult following at this site. Watt Fillier, you think he can replicate last year?
Talking about the Bolitnikoff Award winner this coming season, Watt Fillier?
Hey, there we go. We go. The sizzling hot takes.
Yeah, come on now. Superstar Watt. He is.
Yes, sir.
He's a hell of a player, and I'm really excited about what that we were able to get him back this year and get him rolling for this season. I think it's hard for me to give like an actual win-loss prediction, just because I just don't know what the status of the games are going to be. I'm never going to predict us to lose a game. So you're asking.
Very true. Very true.
But I will say that we will be in contention. Whatever bowl games look like this year, Indiana football is going to be a part of one. And we're gonna continue to build off the success that we found last year, and that's probably the best that I can give to you. And I'm going to say that we are going to break through in one of those big four games that I'm talking about with you: Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State, Penn State, and we're going to win half of those four games this year.
I like it.
At least.
And again, WAP, I think this year is poised for a really good season, especially with Michael Penix being healthy, because I think kind of having a hop back and forth between him and Peyton Ramsey, who's I think is still going to do good things at Northwestern. It can't exactly be worse than Northwestern was last year.
Nope,
I think
no, they can't.
Peyton's going to bring some stability to that. Well, anyways, thanks for joining me today, Rhett.
My pleasure.
Hope to do this again sometime soon. And if people want to find you on Twitter, where can they find you?
It's at Rhett NFL. It's RHETT NFL. So,
all right.
Yeah, man, come hang out with us on social media. Check us out on Total Access on NFL Network, 7 o'clock Eastern Time every weekday. And look forward to interacting with you guys again soon.
All right, man. Hope to see you down in Mobile.
All right, Mike. Take care, bud.
Take care.